What's up, everybody? Today is July 15th, 2020, and in this video, we're going to talk about the passing of three different Glee actors, one of whom, Naya Rivera, was confirmed to have drowned earlier this week in Lake Piru, California. On this channel, we talk a lot about the language of numerology with a focus on Gematria, the ancient practice of coding numbers into words and phrases. The two most basic ciphers are seen on your screen, the alphabetic order 1 through 26, as well as the reduction or Pythagorean method, which reduces the alphabetic order to a single digit using the rules of numerology. Naya passed away on July 8th, but her death wasn't confirmed until July 13th. Well, on that same date, July 13th in 2013, another Glee actor died, Corey Monteith, who was known for playing Finn Hudson. Between the death of Monteith and Rivera, we had the passing of Mark Salling, who played Noah Puckerman on the show Glee. And what makes this especially interesting is that at one point, Naya Rivera and Mark Salling had dated in real life, and now both meeting early demise. And it's strange. CNN points out that there may not be a Glee curse, but with three young actors passing at very young ages shortly after the show ended, you have to wonder what's really going on. So let's look at the numerology of this, as well as the significant riddle with the planet Saturn, which provides a thread through all of these deaths. And in fact, we're going to start with this Saturn riddle here in this video. Now, the language of Gematria, of course, comes from the Hebrew language, the first 5 books of the Torah written in Hebrew. And I want to point out how the planet Saturn, in Hebrew Gematria, has a numeric value of 713. Again, this is the date that Corey Monteith died, 713, and the same date that Naya Rivera's body was found. Naya Rivera was born on January 12th. On the zodiac, January 12th falls during the time of Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn. On the date she died, Naya Rivera was 1.14 Saturnian years old. Using the standard alphabetic order, the name Naya Rivera sums to 114. In regards to her drowning, notice how the word drowned sums to 713 in English Gematria. This English extended cipher, shown on the right side of your screen, is structured similarly to Hebrew Gematria and Greek isopsephy charts. The Latin or Jewish Agrippin key is shown to the left. Co-star Mark Salling died on January 30th of 2018. And January 30th falls during the time of Aquarius. And Aquarius is also ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn is the only planet to rule over 2 consecutive signs on the zodiac. Using the standard alphabetic order, Mark Wayne Salling, his full name, has Gematria of 185. Measuring from his birthday, August 17th of 82, to the date of his death on January 30th of 2018, he was exactly 1,850 weeks old, lining with his ordinal Gematria. But if we were to use capital letters, this cipher called Frank Baconis, which is the alphabetic order but capital letters mixed in, the planet Saturn sums to 185. Now, in the reverse alphabetic order, you may notice that Saturn sums to 69, and Mark Salling's death fell on a date with 69 and 42 numerology. Saturn also 42 in the reverse reduction method. In the alphabetic order, Saturn sums to 93. It's said that Naya Rivera drowned in Lake Piru, California. And notice how Lake Piru also gives us an ordinal value of 93. The planet Saturn in Jewish Gematria sums to 511. This brings us to the television series Glee. And if we measure from the date that this show debuted and the date that it ended, we get 511 measurements in both. So the series debuted on May 19th of 2009. And measuring to the death of Naya Rivera, notice how this is 11 years and 50 days, like the number 115 or the inverse of 511. Of course, remember the word killing sums to 115 in both reverse and Jewish Gematria. Well, then if we instead measure from the date that the series ended, March 20th of 2015, to the date of Naya Rivera's death, we get 5 years and 110 days. Notice how the name Salling, her co-star, also has that 115 Gematria. And I found it interesting that Naya's son was named Josie, because if you add their names together, you get another 115. Furthermore, here we have the magic square of Saturn on the left side of your screen. This is a 3x3 square. And based on the ninth triangular being 45, this is the sum of the magic square, 45. Well, Naya Rivera's character on Glee was Santana Lopez, which sums to 45. Her former co-star Mark Salling also had this 45. But what I just noticed that's interesting about Santana Lopez is this Jewish gematria of 908. If we use trigonal numbers, the planet Saturn equals 908. So clearly, Saturn is a big, big piece of this ritual. But there's a couple more interesting things I want to look at regarding the basic numerology of this news story. Now, she drowned on July 8th, which means that this story made national headlines on July 9th. And July 9th is written 7/9 or 9/7. And in the alphabetic order, the word murder equals 79. Her name, Naya Marie Rivera, sums to both 79 and 97. And she was a star on the show Glee, which equals 79 in reverse. The series finale of Glee aired on March 20th, the 79th day of the year. And if you add her character's name, Santana Lopez, to Glee, you get a 79 in reverse. Her real last name was Rivera, which sums to 89. Her death fell exactly 890 days after the death of Mark Salling. If we instead measure from Salling's death to the date that her body was discovered, we get this interesting value of 895 days. And 895 is a significant number to this code of death, this Eclipse crucifixion code. In the New Testament, we're taught that Jesus was crucified at the age of 33. Of course, it doesn't actually say that in the New Testament, but that's what the Catholic Church likes to teach. And this 895 gematria is the same as ritual human sacrifice, 895. And it was the betrayal from Judas which led to that sacrifice. The name Jesus is very close to 895. We get 985. Of course, a lot of people think Donald Trump is Jesus. Donald Trump is 589, the reverse of 985. Something else that I just thought of is that how in satanic gematria, the planet Saturn sums to 303. And we're talking about the deaths of Naya Rivera, who played Santana Lopez, and Mark Salling, whom she dated in real life, whose name was Noah Puckerman. And check out Noah Puckerman and Santana Lopez, giving us a 303 in ordinal. And of course, 33, a big number to this whole thing. The word eclipse equals 33 in reduction. Naya Rivera passing away at the age of 33. And perhaps this has something to do with the fact that Glee ends with the double E, Glee, which is a backwards 33. Notice how Naya Rivera sums to 156 and 66 in reverse. This is the ordinal and reduction value of 33. Regarding this 156, her death was confirmed a span of 11 years and 56 days after the debut of Glee. And just think about the date that her death was confirmed. The 13th of July, written 137 in most parts of the world. Well, 137 is the 33rd prime number. And 137 also part of the eclipse code because total eclipse sums to 137. In extended gematria, total eclipse equals 713, the other way to write the date July 13th. So every year on July 13th, we get these types of rituals. I know I have them documented on my blog from last year as well. In fact, last year, 713 fell on a Saturday. As far as the 187 gematria of total eclipse, notice the name Salling equaled 187. July 9th, the news of Naya Rivera's passing, or her disappearance, was 187 days before her birthday. That news also fell a span of 4,070 days after the debut of Glee. Total eclipse equals 47. So does Glee in English Extended. The word killing sums to 47. Her character's name on the show was Santana, which equals 47. And the series Glee most certainly debuted by the numbers. Notice how Glee equals 29 in the alphabetic order. The phrase eclipse sacrifice has this 290, as well as the 79, to go along with Glee. Well, Glee, of course, debuted in the year 2009. A lot like the numerology of the number 29. The show debuted on the date May 19th. And May 19th can be written 19/5. Well, the 195th day of 2020 was July 13th. And in the alphabetic order, July 13th equals 195. And this year, July 13th was of a special significance. If you measure from July 19th to the second Great American Total Solar Eclipse, you get exactly 195 weeks. Her death fell 1,057 days after the first Great American Total Solar Eclipse. And 157 is the 37th prime number, which brings us to Glee, 37, as well as the name Rivera. So that pretty much sizes it up for the numerology of this story. Just wanted to make sure everybody understood the Saturnian numerology. And it all began with Corey Monteith. Now, as we mentioned, Saturn summing to 511 in Jewish Gematria and 713 in Hebrew. Corey Monteith, born on 511, dying on 713. Naya Rivera, being found on 713 exactly 7 years later. Rivera was born as a Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. Mark Salling died during the time of Aquarius, also ruled by Saturn. And remember the big alignment with Mark Wayne Salling summing to 185? He died at the age of exactly 1,850 weeks old, just like the planet Saturn, with capital letters. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks to everybody for popping in. Peace, love, God bless. We'll talk to you next time. See ya.